Well, for more special insight into Greece's financial position, I'm joined now by the country's Finance Minister, George Papaconstantinou. First of all, welcome this morning. Thank you for coming here to the Bloomberg studio. There has been an awful lot of speculation here in Davos and indeed in the press about some kind of deal that's being done with France and Germany. What do you know about any kind of secret talks? Are they underway?
There's one thing which I want to make absolutely clear. The Greek government is determined to do whatever it takes to bring the deficit down. We have a program which is going to be officially accepted by the European Commission next week. It's a deficit program, a deficit cutting program, reductions in expenditures, increases in revenues. We will be back on track. There is absolutely no way we will be deviating from this. And this is reflected, I think, in the comments made around the number of European capitals. This is where we are. Everything else is really missing the point. Greece will do what it takes.
But this speculation isn't very helpful. So can you say whether or not there are talks going on about a possible bailout for Greece?
Eurozone has specific rules, has a way of functioning. The way that it helps its member states is, and it does help its member states, is that it reassures everybody, markets, citizens, that every country is going to be following a path of fiscal retrenchment. And that's what we're discussing with the Commission at the moment, the Stability and Growth Programme, and how we're going to be doing that. That's what we have.
Don't you think it would be helpful to end this speculation by simply saying, absolutely not, there is no plan, there are no talks going on with Greece, with Germany, with France, to look for a bailout, if that is indeed the case?
I have said this many, many times over the past.
This is something that's supposed to be happening right at the moment. Can you give us any clarity as to whether it's happening or not?
It is not something that we are involved in or have any knowledge of. We are doing what we have to do, and this is our job. And our job is, within the Eurozone rules, to make sure we bring the deficit under control. Because at the end of the day, this is what the markets are worried about. They're worried about whether the job will be done. And they are beginning to see signs that we're already moving in that direction.
Unfortunately, though, the bond and credit default swap prices don't really show that bearing out. You've already brought in these austerity programmes. You've already said you're going to cut the deficit, and yet the bond market is deteriorating. It looks like investors simply don't believe you.
Well, a few days ago, the investors showed a clear sign of confidence by buying a 5-year government bond. The offer was oversubscribed. We had a book of about 25 billion for an initial attempt from us to raise 3 to 5 billion. We ended up taking 8 billion. That's a clear sign, and I think that as the implementation of the package that we have becomes more clear, and as we get the green light from the Commission, which we will be doing next week, I think that spreads will tighten and the market will be reassured.
I think one of the concerns is the review of the statistics that you had to carry out. Can you now say with 100% certainty that there are no more skeletons in Greece's cupboard, and that GDP figures, deficit figures, those are never going to be revised again? Actually,
yes, I can. After a long time, we can say that, because we've gone through an exhaustive look at all the statistics with Eurostat's help. Eurostat has produced a big report on Greek statistics. We are cooperating with them to make our statistics service fully independent. This will be law in a few weeks. We're creating checks and balances and completely overhauling the budget process to have an auditing mechanism so as everybody can trust our budget figures. We will be, in the next few weeks, in a sense, have a full environment where people will be absolutely sure that Greek statistics, and they will be able to follow the budget as it unfolds and see that we're reducing the deficit, that the figures that they're looking at are the real figures. And that's, that credibility deficit is what hurts us most at the moment. Yeah. It's even more than the actual numbers of the budget deficit. It's the fact that people are saying, okay, but can we trust your numbers? And now we are saying to people, yes, you can, and our books are open for everybody to see. So this idea that the European Commission is going to put forward in February that Eurostat, that the European Statistics Office will be able to look at a nation's, basically number crunch individual nations' figures, is something that you support? I think this would be very useful. We've actually asked Eurostat to be involved in our own statistical service in its running and have either a person on the board or somebody to be closely looking and helping us. Look, Greece has suffered, and we're suffering every day on the markets from this lack of credibility. We want to put an end to this, and we have shown in the last 3 months that we are absolutely determined in that direction. We've shown it with particular policy initiatives that we have taken.
You've done that over the last 3 months. The bond market has deteriorated in that time. What more can you do? Is there anything concrete you can point to and say, look, on this date, we will show that the deficit has gone down by this much, and that's when you should believe us, that's when things can turn around?
Mid-February, we'll have the first figures from the execution of the budget for 2010. We'll have the January figures.
And what are you hoping for?
We will be showing that the target that we have set for reducing the deficit is the one that we are actually attaining. During the month of February, we have the big tax reform bill coming to Parliament. We have the bill on wages in the public sector. This will show the commitment of the government.
And is there a plan B? What happens if this just doesn't work and you are going to default or you need to be bailed out?
I cannot even get into that conversation. From our side,
you must
we
think
will do
about
whatever
it, though. You
it
must
takes.
think about it.
Well, yes, we do think about it, but it is not helpful for us to be talking in that direction or even thinking in that direction. We are doing what needs to be done. If more measures will be necessary, we will take these additional measures. There's no question about it.
The additional measures being a bailout?
No, additional measures being more cuts in spending, additional increases in revenues to make sure we meet the deficit targets. Because that's the crunch. The crunch is that markets, our European partners, Greek citizens are convinced that we are actually tackling the problems.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.